Okay, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to cover some of the sketchy areas of Calgary, Alberta. I've already done similar videos for Edmonton and Saskatoon, and it seems like people got some value out of those ones, and so I wanted to do a similar video for Calgary. Now, Calgary is one of the safest and cleanest cities in the country. It's not really known for being sketchy or dangerous, but every city out there has areas with a bad reputation, and Calgary is no exception. This is going to be a relatively short video. There's already quite a bit of content on YouTube about this topic, and I didn't have quite as much time to work on this video as I wanted. But I've been wanting to do this video for a while, and I visited Calgary last week and I had a chance to shoot some video. And so I wanted to add my 2 cents on the sketchy areas of Calgary, Alberta. So often when you're looking at different cities, certain sides of the city are perceived as being more dangerous than the others. For example, in my hometown of Edmonton, the north side is seen as a lot more rough than the south side. When it comes to Calgary, people generally say that the east side is sketchier than the west side. I've heard people say that the northeast quadrant of the city is the worst, but it definitely seems that there are portions of the northeast and the southeast quadrants that have a bit of a reputation. The neighborhood of Forest Lawn probably has the worst reputation in Calgary. Many people have called this Calgary's ghetto. This area has a lot of low-income housing, and it can definitely get a bit run down. And of course, the entire neighborhood isn't bad. Street to street, it varies quite a bit. But in general, Forest Lawn definitely has a reputation. And when you're talking about the sketchiest street in Calgary, that would definitely have to be 17th Avenue Southeast, also known as International Avenue. This street runs right through Forest Lawn, and in particular, the stretch of 17th Avenue from about 36th Street to 52nd Street is definitely the dodgiest individual street in Calgary. I saw multiple prostitutes walking in this area and people doing drug deals openly. 17th Avenue Southeast in Calgary is very similar to 118th Avenue or maybe 107th Avenue in Edmonton, and it's definitely the sketchiest street in Calgary. Directly to the north of Forest Lawn is the neighborhood of Marlborough, and it's part of this cluster of neighborhoods on the east side of the city where there's a lot more lower income housing and a reputation for petty crime. The area around Marlborough Mall in particular can be a bit dodgy. A bunch of people mentioned this place specifically as I was talking to people in Calgary, and personally when I visited this area it definitely seemed like it could be one of the more dangerous areas of the city. You also have the area of Dover. This is part of that same cluster of neighborhoods on the east side. A few people said that it used to be a lot worse and it's gotten a lot better, and honestly when I visited this area it didn't seem that bad, but it definitely came up a few times in my conversations with local residents. I also heard a lot about the area of Ogden. This includes the neighborhoods of Linwood and Milliken Estates, and this area is a mix of residential and industrial. I also heard that the Ogden area has gotten a lot better recently, and it's definitely not as sketchy as Forest Lawn or Marlborough. And then obviously due to the population density, the downtown area of Calgary is going to have a lot of crime. But honestly, downtown Calgary overall is very safe and clean, especially compared to the downtown area of Edmonton. The most populated neighborhood in Calgary is Beltline. This sits directly south of the downtown core, and the neighborhood of Beltline is bordered to the south by 17th Avenue Southwest, which is also known as the Red Mile. This is the most popular street in the city for nightlife, restaurants, bars, and cafes, and it's an incredibly vibrant area of the city. And I don't think many people would describe this area as being sketchy or dangerous, but because of the population density, this area definitely has higher overall crime rates compared to other areas of the city. Very similar to downtown Edmonton, it seems like the east side of downtown Calgary is a bit more sketchy than the west side. Many people mentioned the Victoria Park area on the east side of Beltline, and a bunch of people also talked about the area of East Village. This area has been heavily redeveloped in recent years, and most people agreed that it's gotten a lot better. But you're probably going to see a lot more homeless people and social disorder in this part of downtown, and honestly a lot of this is due to the shelters in this area. This neighborhood has the Calgary Drop-In Center, which is by far the largest shelter in the city. And honestly, the area around the shelter can be a bit dodgy, and there was definitely a heavy security presence in this area that I hadn't seen in other areas of downtown. But overall, East Village really isn't that bad. It's actually a really cool neighborhood, and I definitely recommend checking it out. And that's pretty much it, although I wanted to mention the area of Bowness. This is in the west side of the city. It's one of the oldest neighborhoods in Calgary, and it definitely seems to still have a bit of a reputation. A bunch of people said that the area of Bowness used to be quite rough, but it's gotten a lot better recently. Honestly, I really like this neighborhood and it didn't seem that sketchy at all. This area definitely has a wide range of housing, everything from low-income townhouses to mansions surrounded by trees. It kind of reminded me of the neighborhood of Riverdale in Edmonton. Anyways, I wanted to quickly include the area of Bowness in this video because a bunch of people mentioned that this area had a bit of a rough reputation, but it honestly didn't seem that bad and I found it quite pleasant. And then a few people also mentioned the area of Westbrook Mall. I don't know, maybe someone can give me some insight, but it honestly seemed pretty normal. I mean, I was here during the day, and it could very well be sketchy at night, but it just didn't seem that bad. And that's going to wrap this one up. Overall, Calgary is a very beautiful and safe city. Especially compared to Edmonton, the downtown area is quite safe, although the east side of downtown is a bit sketchier than the west side. And then there's a bunch of neighborhoods on the east side of the city that definitely have a reputation. And these neighborhoods are largely centered around 17th Avenue Southeast, which is by far the sketchiest street in the city. And this is just my 2 cents. I know Calgary fairly well, but obviously not as well as a local resident. And although I talked to a bunch of local residents when I was making this video, I'd love to hear more feedback from people that live in the city. I hope you found this one interesting and informative. If you haven't already, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I post a variety of Canadian content, and I typically upload something new once a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can buy me a coffee, and there's a link to that below. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you next time.